The project can only work because of my manicness. I can go to the other extreme and I can be a totally zenned out person, and that's an aspect I would like to get back to and be able to focus on being an artist rather than the juggler. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want to be able to get to the point where I can focus on the art of community.
It's equally good as bad. Like, we're very close, and we are a great team, but we're also very different. Like, I think I'm quite, not pessimistic, but more realist and want to do things slower and more pragmatic, and he's just always, every time I come down there's a new building, a new thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't keep up with this.
I'm Robert Singer. I'm the co-founder of Nurture Kick. We're an artist collective that bakes bread to earn dough to fund arts. As we go around the corner, this top building here, this beautiful sandstone, blonde sandstone building with 3 famous heads of Ayr at the doorway. We'll be taking occupation of that in the 1st of May, which will be our studios and meeting rooms and small performance spaces and things like that. The doorway will get its ubiquitous teal makeover soon, and we'll redo the signage. As we come to the People's Art School, we discovered these mosaic tiles which fitted in with our kind of teal colouring. The artworks in the windows are visions of labours of the past, apart from this one here, which is pomposity gone wild. The builder has not completed the work that should have been done to allow us to take on the lease. There's now complications that need to be addressed before we can move forward.
We've been in negotiations for nearly a year and a half already, maybe over that. We were supposed to take it over in January, but the building is still not wind and watertight, so we've had problems with water coming through the roof and mould, and it's just not ready to take over, so we're now dealing with lawyers to try and get the negotiations finalised, but yeah, it's a long, hard process trying to get there. We have all these projects and funding to get started, but just no space to get in yet, so it's very frustrating kind of having your whole plan and programming sitting ready to go, but everything keeps getting delayed. We've had to cancel projects, so yeah, it's very stressful and tiring. So I'm Saskia and I'm the co-founder of Nurture. We set up the social enterprise in 2020. Before that I studied fine art at Duncan o' Jordanson in Dundee. Graduated in 2019. I've worked in hospitality the whole way through my whole life, and I've worked with my dad in different pop-up projects, but in 2020 we kind of came together to set up Nurture, which is a fusion of food and the arts. I think I do really want the Newmarket Street project to happen. We've been working with the council, who've been helping us do an architectural feasibility study of the space, and we just met with them recently and got the drawings through of the concepts, and it looks amazing. And I can totally envision how it would all be done and set out, so that would be the dream, but you need a hell of a lot of money to get there, so that's the total dream, but we'll see.
You can create artwork anywhere. You know, we've had to kind of do this bit of interviewing because the People's Art School's kind of locked off to us just now. But it's not a space that's the project, it's the concept specific rather than the place particular. There's no shortages of buildings. What there is shortage of is visions for what those buildings could do. So the idea of a People's Art School as a university of the everyday is much more about how do we engage with people to reimagine town centres. We're left with big buildings just now that will never ever see retail again. So what do we do with them? Do we make them urban farms? You know, do we go into hydroponics? Do we make them more spaces of social engagement? You know, I think that's the thing, that this area can actually be the iconic area that you support and encourage creativity.
Yeah, it's creating a space that different creatives can come together. Well, creating a space, there's so many different things that you have to run a business. You need to have like HR, accountants, food, marketing. So it's creating employment for many different people and just kind of starting from grassroots. And then the end goal is to have this space, the People's Art School, which will have workshops, exhibitions, gigs, space for food as well. So it's creating this space that does truly marry the food and the arts and has different opportunities for the workshops on these different aspects.
It is about a true sense of belonging. I would like to get to the stage where I can come into the People's Art School, the cafe, the University of the People, whatever, and actually feel as if I belong to a community and feel as if I have a sense of belonging. So it's driven by a sense of belonging. Really? How interesting. So this is, we're trying to kind of create the space where we'll exhibit artworks in it. You'll see some of them as you go through here. You'll need to be careful with your feet. It's not a building site, it's a site of worthless stuff. The building we're currently in is 3 separate buildings, but they're all interconnected in some way or other. The aspiration I have for it is to create in the ground floor a really high-end patisserie brasserie. And to get there, the aim would be to turn this into a training school where every aspect of the business would be brought in as a training aspect, from the cleaners to the CEO. It needs to be the whole package. That would also lay down a foundation for the potential of developing a university of sustainability, creativity and well-being in the town. It's had its mixed bags. Saskia and I have always been very close, but the more business stuff that are in it, the more tensions there are between us sometimes. The objective though is to get beyond that and for us both to be the artists. We're both doing things that's actually not why we're doing this. And it's trying to get to the point where we're actually the artists doing the work rather than the managers managing the project.
I don't really know what my job description is anymore because I do so many things. Right now I'm a guest cafe manager in here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're a great team, but it does have its challenges, but that's just life and that's working with family, I guess.
Through the process, it then has went into its darker spaces where things have been really difficult and really tense. But I still hold to the same vision that the darkest hour is the one before dawn, and if you don't go through the dark hours, you don't get to the bright light. I'm a person that's driven by the Indian term dharma, which is to know one's purpose. And I know my purpose. My purpose is to continue to develop a legacy of creative hope. And that's what I'm trying to do. Once I've done that, and when I pass, I will be as important as a hand in a bucket of water. I will very quickly disappear into the ethers, and what I've done will just become the everyday, and it won't be remembered apart from on occasions.